Brenda's already big eyes bugged out as she strolled up Market Street, trailing her mother, father, and big sister. It was Christmas Eve. Vendors standing behind trays filled with shiny toys lined the sidewalks of the main thoroughfare through St. John's City. The street was jam-packed as people shuffled along, no one in any particular hurry. There was no traffic. As usual, the police had blocked from Nevis Street all the way up to Newgate Street, where Market Street ended. Slow as the procession was, Brenda was moving slower than most, eyes darting from tray to tray, fingers twitching, struggling to obey, in spite of her parents warning to see and don't touch. It was torture for the 8-year-old girl. There were dolls of all types on show. Many were pale, with yellow hair, but one stood out. It was pretty and dark, with coarse and curly hair like hers. She couldn't stop staring at that one. Brenda! That was her mother. Voice sharp. Brenda looked away from the doll that had her hypnotized and zigzagged through the crowd to her family's side. She hadn't realized she'd fallen so far behind. Her mother gave her arm a pinch, but she was too excited to register the pain. She tried to tell Livy about the doll, but her sister snapped, "We're too big for dolls." Brenda felt the sting of that. But that was Livy these days. Too big for everything. Even their usual Christmas Eve excursion. She sulked and pouted, her entire body a lifeless drag. Brenda had noticed a change since September when Livy had left her behind for the secondary school on the hill. At first, Brenda would wait at the bottom of the incline by the roundabout for her sister so they could walk home together, as they always had. But Lizzie had quickly settled in with a new group of friends, friends with rouged lips, straightened hair, and pierced ears. Livy wanted her ears pierced as well, but she and their mother had had the "take time, you're still young, you can't study the world and school at the same time" talk too many times for Brenda to count over the past weeks. They reached the big department store at the top of Newgate Street, the one with Jesus, Joseph, and Mary, three wise men, the star, Santa Claus, Rudolph, all the reindeer, and about 500,000 lights lighting up its rooftop. King Obstinate, ho, 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 how will Santa get in? Blared from hidden speakers. Brenda remembered she and Livy dancing and singing along to the popular Calypso Christmas tune last Christmas and all the Christmases in her memory. Tonight, Livy stood right next to her, among the many bodies milling around, faces upturned. Only Livy was pointedly ignoring the spectacle that had drawn them there. She didn't crack a smile, much less shake her waist. Brenda missed her big sister. The piece of fudge her father slipped her as he hoisted her onto his shoulders wasn't enough to make Brenda shake that abandoned feeling, but it was enough to distract her from it for a time. She didn't have much of a sweet tooth, wasn't one for sucker bubbies and sugar cakes, but she loved fudge. The way it was slightly sandy textured but melted on the tongue, almost, but not too sweet. After a time they turned from the giant Christmas display and began the reverse trip along Market Street, Livy lagging behind. When their father asked them which of the items from the many trays they'd passed they wanted for Christmas, Livy said she didn't want anything. It was all cheap crap, and she wasn't a child anymore. Their mother almost boxed her in her mouth for that. Brenda could tell, and Dad looked disappointed. Even more so after Brenda, still following Livy's lead in everything, said she didn't want anything either. They went home empty-handed. Christmas morning, they woke to the usual smells of everything that was nice cooking all at once. Matching church dresses, Livy scowled at that, were already ironed and hanging at the back of the girls' bedroom door, gift bags over the necks of each hanger. Brenda tore into hers, finding silver bangles, and found to her delight the black doll she'd been ogling the night before. She glanced at, she glanced across at Livy, who was distracted, playing bored while opening her present, too distracted to mock Brenda. So Brenda allowed herself a genuine grin and chirp of delight at the sight of the doll that looked so much like her. She could hardly believe she was holding it, her fingers brushing its Brillo-pad textured hair and only just resisting the impulse to put those full lips, pursed as though on the verge of whispering a secret, up to her ear. She wasn't too big for dolls. Livy's first present was a pair of bangles, like Brenda's except for being gold. She slipped them on with a smile. Then Livy screamed, "Ah!" and ran from the room. Brenda dropping her doll onto the bed. That's when she saw the gold hooped earrings, which Livy must have dropped in her excitement. Brenda picked them up. They were real gold from the weight of them. Brenda heard Livy now squealing. She got the parrot. She heard the laughter in her father's voice as he replied to Livy's question that yes, yes, this means you can get your ears pierced. More squealing. Ah! Not even short circuited by their mother adding, but not until you turn 13 in January. Brenda stepped from their bedroom to the main room. The earrings still in her hand, Livy clutched her. Brenda expected Livy to accuse her of trying to take the earrings. Instead, her sister hugged her, still dancing around, so that Brenda had no choice but to move with her. When Livy released her, for the moment no longer the sullen, almost teenager they'd all become so familiar with, she took the earrings from Brenda's hand. She stood in front of the Jesus clock with the reflective surface, holding them up to her ears and turning her head this way and that, trying to see how the earrings would transform her into the grown version of herself she so longed to be. Somebody's happy, their father teased. Yes, 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 the future. But their dad's eyes were on Brenda, who didn't even try to hide her grin. She wore it like a red bow on a shiny package all the way to church, her doll in one hand, her sister's hand in the other, the earrings safe on their dresser at home, but their bangles jingling as they moved, linked hands swinging.